What if I told you the best way to build muscle looked, well, kind of lazy? That it wasn't about spending every single day in the gym, grinding yourself into dust. Today, we're gonna dig into a method that seems completely backwards, but is actually a way smarter path to getting stronger.
You've seen these two people, right? On one side, you've got the grinder. Their whole identity is the gym. They're posting no days off on Instagram, but you can just tell they're exhausted and running on fumes. And then there's the strategist. They just show up maybe 3 times a week, yet somehow they look better and lift more every single month. So what gives? It's not about effort. It's about strategy.
And that's really the big question we're asking today, isn't it? Is the person doing less actually lazy? Or had they just figured out the secret? Had they figured out what to focus on? And maybe even more importantly, what they should completely ignore? All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with this lazy muscle paradox. Then we'll get into why training less can actually mean more growth, why you should focus on smarter moves, not more of them, the surprising power of just pausing, why recovery is king, and finally, we're going to completely redefine what discipline looks like. So let's dive right in. Section 1, the lazy muscle paradox. Yeah, it sounds weird, but this whole idea is built on a simple premise. By strategically doing less, you can end up gaining a whole lot more. Okay, so how is that even possible? Well, it starts right here with our first big idea. Less training, more growth. It's time to finally bust this myth that you have to be in the gym every single day to see any real results. Here's the thing you have to understand. Your muscles, they don't have a calendar. They don't know if you worked out on Monday or Tuesday. All they respond to is the total weekly stimulus, the total amount of hard work you do in a week. As you can see, the grinder and the strategist can do the exact same amount of work. One just does it way more efficiently. So, what is that perfect amount of work? Well, the research is pretty darn clear on this. The sweet spot is somewhere between 10 to 20 hard sets per muscle group per week. Anything more than that, and you're just piling on fatigue without actually triggering any more muscle growth. You hit a point of diminishing returns. And that brings us to frequency. Hitting a muscle group 2, maybe 3 times a week, that's the magic formula. It gives your muscles the signal to grow, and then, and this is absolutely crucial, it gives them enough time to actually recover and build back stronger. The person training 6 days a week is constantly interrupting that vital recovery process. Now, if we're going to train less often, we have to be super efficient with our time, right? That leads us straight to our next point. This isn't about doing a million different exercises, it's about doing the smarter ones. This is all about the power of compound movements. We're talking about the absolute classics, the fundamentals. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, and rows. You can build an incredible, powerful physique with just these 5 movements and their variations. You honestly don't need the 15 different bicep curl variations you saw on Instagram. So what is a compound movement, really? It's simple. One exercise that hits a whole bunch of muscles at the exact same time. Think about a squat. It's not just a leg exercise. It's your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, your core, all working together. It's the definition of getting the most bang for your buck. Okay, next up, we're going to challenge another piece of gym folklore, the idea that you have to be rushing and sweating between every set. Nope. It's time to embrace the power of a good, long pause. This is probably going to surprise you. The optimal rest period between your hard sets isn't 30 seconds, it's not even a minute, it's 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, you heard me. And this is not being lazy, it's being strategic. You're allowing your nervous system to fully recover so you can give maximum effort on the next set. And here's why this matters so much. When you are fully recovered, you can lift heavier or you can get more reps. That improved performance from set to set is the #1 thing that drives muscle growth. The person rushing is just getting tired. The person taking their time is actually getting stronger. All right, now we get to what might be the laziest, but also the most critical part of this entire puzzle, recovery. Because the real work, the real growth, it doesn't happen in that 1 hour you're in the gym. It happens in the other 23 hours of the day. Let's start with cardio. So many people think they need to suffer through these brutal, high-intensity sessions. But HIIT is just so stressful on your body. It can make you ravenously hungry, and it just leads to burnout. Now look at the alternative, just walking. It's low stress, you can do it every day, and it's incredibly effective for fat loss and recovery without adding more damage. And this right here, this is maybe the most important thing you'll hear today. This is a fundamental law of fitness. You don't build muscle in the gym. You build muscle when you sleep. The gym is where you create the stimulus. You're breaking muscle down. Sleep is when your body does the repair work and actually builds it back bigger and stronger.
7 to 8 hours. Every single night, this is non-negotiable. If you're skipping sleep, you are actively sabotaging all your hard work. You're tanking your muscle repair, your hormones, everything. It's the most powerful performance enhancer on the planet, and guess what? It's free. Okay, let's pull all these threads together for our final section. It's time to talk about what real discipline actually is. Because it's not about just picking the thing that feels the hardest or the most painful. So just think about this for a second. Which of these paths truly requires more discipline? Path A, training 6 days a week, doing cardio you hate, always adding more until you inevitably crash and burn after a few months. Or Path B, the discipline to only train 3 times a week, the discipline to walk instead of punish yourself, the discipline to stop when you know you've done enough, and to keep doing that consistently for years. Which one is actually harder?
This is the big takeaway. True long-term discipline isn't about mindlessly piling on more work. It's the much harder task of resisting that temptation. It's about ignoring the noise and having the laser focus to do only the things that truly move the needle.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In fitness, and maybe in a lot of other areas of life, is discipline really about adding more and more to your plate? Or is it the much more difficult, much smarter act of stripping away everything else and doing only what matters?